Hey guys, how you doing? It's Brad with atrepodcast.com, all things real estate. Really excited about my next guests. We actually have Arrive Home Lending. We have two incredible guests from there, Arrive Home Lending. Now, first we have Darren Phillis. Darren has over 20 years experience in business strategy and planning, organizational management, and finance. Darren has been a strategic vision and executional backbone for a diverse portfolio of new emerging businesses. Darren's latest venture is being a partner and financial advocate for Arrive Home Lending. Arrive gives Darren the opportunity to leverage his experience in business while continuing to fuel his passion for supporting underserved communities. Next, we have his partner, Matt Lee. Now, Matt has spent more than 2 decades helping to deliver brand experience for clients of all sizes across many different industries. Inspired by the opportunity to drive the evolution of personal finance and home lending, Matt helped to launch Arrive. Now, welcome, Matt. Welcome, Darren. How are you guys?
Hey, Brad. Thanks for the intro. How you doing?
Good, good. You guys look great. How's everything going with COVID and any hiccups? You guys doing okay?
Well, as you can see, we're quarantined in our own office. I'm in my space, Matt's in his. So we're taking it very seriously. It's a very serious thing, but it's all good.
I like it. So, reading your bio is very interesting. And how do you serve underserved communities?
It's a great question. And it's one of the main reasons why we started Arrive. The main idea is to bring access to financing for everybody, right? If you look statistically speaking, white Americans are the homeowners in the United States.
Correct.
All right. If you look at other statistics, Hispanic Americans are the fastest growing population in the United States. In my experience I lived in Mexico for 18 years, did business there. And looking how the finance works in that economy, it's very different than how it works here. So when immigrants come to the United States and they try to navigate the financial water, so to speak, which is difficult enough as it is for everybody. Yeah. And then you throw this barrier of learning on top of it, it makes it really difficult. So one of our main goals and objectives is, and what we're doing is, not only are we doing it in their language, right, for Hispanic American speaking, in my case, because I speak Spanish.
Yes, you do. That's a really great asset, by the way.
Thank you very much. We're helping them navigate through this difficult financial complex environment in the United States. So, for example, in Mexico, folks get financing at the bank. Right. They go to BBVA, okay? In the United States, we know that through the broker channel, brokers are more competitive than banks, the retail channel. So what we do is we're bringing that financing and the better pricing and interest rates to other borrowers that can't normally access it.
So do you feel that there's been some systemic racism in regards to Hispanics? Is that where you're primarily going towards, or just in general, all minorities that you feel that you could be a catalyst to kind of help minorities not be taken advantage of in the mortgage and lending industry?
I wouldn't go so far as to go to get political with it, to the systematic racism part of it, but I am saying I think that it's just a fact of knowledge, right? Of educating. Like I said, it's complex for everybody. Okay. It's more complex when you put a layer in speaking to the Hispanic American, of doing it a different way or knowing how to do it a different way. Okay, so what we're trying to do is help them navigate this system and show them there's another way that's not what they're used to doing it in their home country. Right. If you're talking about other minorities, there's definitely issues with statistics about that, right?
There is, correct.
But that's a different conversation.
Right, different conversation. So, and I appreciate you being candid and explaining that. And I think it's wonderful that it sounds to me like, at least with your 18 years of experience in Mexico City, that maybe you're able to kind of hold your clients a little bit better, show them the way, if I was to end up in Mexico and I wanted to buy a house and I don't speak the language, I may need someone to hold my hand and walk me through it. So it sounds like you could be an advocate for that. This next question is a two-parter. How do you serve female entrepreneurs, and what is Victoria 147?
Good question. I'll take that one too. So when I was in Mexico, for 18 years, I had, through my in my prior business life, I had the opportunity to serve with Cartier Women's Initiative Awards as the Latin American jury president for a female entrepreneurship business plan competition. Through that, another organization in Mexico called Victoria 147, V147,
okay.
Learned about me, and I'm a mentor for that program. And that company is an accelerator for female entrepreneur businesses. So I personally serve female entrepreneurs as mentoring them. But it goes back to why, like my passion for wanting to help underserved communities, right? Because in learning about how females are not represented in the C-suite and in a global level as much as they should be.
I agree.
Statistics show that if you have a more diverse board of directors, you've got a more sustainable company.
Right.
More sustainable companies have more sustainable economies. Okay. So and I'm coming from a third world perspective or emerging economy perspective from all this learnings. Okay. So if you look at that and you translate that to underserved communities in the United States, if we can help them create wealth through home ownership, we're not only helping them in their nucleus, we're helping their communities and our economy overall.
Great work. I like to see that you're all gamuts of the whole world, and I think you guys are doing a great job. What separates Arrive from other lenders? Matt, talk to me. Come on, Goose. Tell me a story.
So what separates Arrive? Like, first and foremost, we're actually a personal finance consultancy. We help educate and mentor our clients on a path to financial freedom. And we know that growing your wealth through home ownership is actually the best way to do that. So we then created Arrive Home Lending. Okay. When we did that, we realized that, when we took a look at the business, competing on product and pricing, I think everyone knows is a zero-sum game, and ultimately it's a race to the bottom. So we wanted to create a unique value proposition where we actually take into consideration a client's much larger financial picture when we're actually helping them to determine what's the best product or loan for them.
Great. That's nice.
Yeah. So what we like to say is we don't exist to sell you a mortgage, right? We exist to help you realize financial freedom. A mortgage is just one way to do that.
That's great. That's great. And how did you guys decide to get into lending? Was there a aha moment? What happened to make you two say, hey, let's come together and make a difference in this world?
Well, it really, again, came from, the path to financial freedom, going through growing your wealth through home ownership. It was just a service offering from Arrive that we knew could significantly help benefit our clients. And rather than have them go to partners who we questioned what the actual experience was, we went ahead and launched Arrive Home Lending so that we could actually keep all of that in-house.
So you guys are backed by your own investors, or how's that working?
Well,
we currently keep it in-house. Are you keeping the loans in-house? They're not serviced by, you don't sell them off?
No, we mean the actual brokering, securing the actual loans.
Yeah, Arrive Home Lending is a brokerage in that regard. So we have Arrive, which is another part of our organization, which is we're helping. It's a different conversation, but the Arrive Home Lending is a brokerage.
Excellent. How should a buyer or an investor prepare themselves before calling you to make their home buying dreams come true? What's going to make it easier for you? Do you want them to call you with what? In other words, should they be prepared to give you bank statements? Should they be prepared to give you, where they were? What's going to make it easier for you when they call?
What we don't want them to call us with is, what's your rate, right? Because we get a lot of those calls.
You're going to get that from anybody.
Yeah, everybody does. Everybody.
That's just part of your business, buddy. Too bad. Sorry.
Yeah. But what we like to think is, it's always great if someone comes to us with, whatever documentation, a great credit score, their assets together, their W-2s, their pay stubs. I think, again, that's just, in a lot of ways, that's helping us help them.
Well, that's my question. So
yeah, but what we like to focus
paperwork. In other words, they're not going to call you and go, hey, this is Brad. I just came from Mexico City and I'd like a loan. It's, hey, this is Brad. I just came from Mexico City. Hey, I was listening to All Things Real Estate and I have everything you said I needed together. So tell me, what do you need, Matt? Are they going to be, what do you want to prepare them for? Do they want to, are they going to be filling out an application? In other words, let's baby step it, right? You're going to be holding everyone's hands. So what are we telling them? They're going to be calling. What are they going to expect when they get the call from you?
it's going to be different, right? When you call us, because we're taking into consideration the much bigger picture of your financial picture, it's going to be a conversation actually of your broader financial goals, right? We're going to start to ask them questions about like, what is it that you actually want to achieve? You have kids. Have you started to think about a 529 plan? You're getting older. You don't think you're ready for retirement? Hey, you know what? Let's take into consideration what the mortgage or a refi can actually do to help benefit you in retirement, and help benefit you in putting your kids through college, can help benefit you in actually investing more, whether it be an IRA or maxing out your 401k. So if they come to us with those goals in mind, it helps keep them grounded, as well as us focused on delivering them with the right product to actually meet and satisfy those goals, rather than just going back and forth between rates and prices and stuff. Because at that point, you're fishing, right? You're really fishing for like, what's the best thing for them? And if we can keep them focused on what's their goals, it keeps both of us accountable.
Yeah, no, and I get that. My main part of that question, though, to get back to it, was when I'm as a real estate agent taking out a buyer, before I even take out a buyer, I say, I'm not going to take you out until you're pre-approved or pre-qualified. I need to speak to to my lender. So what I was asking more is, what makes your job easier when my clients call you? If I want to give you a loan, they're going to have to call you. I don't necessarily need you on the phone with my client for 4 hours asking those questions. While they're great questions, and I can appreciate the fact that you want to see them actually, you want to be a part of their lives and their financial moves, and make sure that they have the right strategy. Wonderful. But what I want to do is sell them a house. So what I want to do is prepare them. Hey, you're going to call Matt and Darren. When you call Matt and Darren, you're going to need to know that they're going to ask you a lot of personal questions, such as, what's your social security number? What'd you make last year? Are you current with your taxes for the past 2 years? They're going to ask you a lot of questions that every lender is going to ask you. The difference is they're going to have a strategy for you. So it's implementing what you just said, along with what you're going to need to pre-approve or pre-qualify. So
Right.
this podcast that we're doing is very educational. This is to teach new agents what lenders are looking for, what buyers and sellers are looking for, what real estate agents. It's a whole gamut from building homes on up, right? It's called All Things Real Estate. So the reason why I'm asking you those questions is I want agents to be able to call you and say, hey, I'd love to work with you. I don't have a lender. I want to build a relationship. How can we work, and have our synergy
Absolutely.
together? So
And there are those initial checklists, Brad, to get to the hard line of your question to help service the people that are watching it.
Yeah.
There is but every client is unique. So there has to be an initial conversation, but there's identification, there's W-2s, there's
every
1 month.
Client's going to be different, Darren. We all get that, every one of them. But everyone has 5 things that they do when they're pre-qualifying. Every single lender does the exact same thing. Now, every single lender doesn't offer the exact same maybe programs, but to get to those programs, you're going to need to know what? You're going to need to know their names, their social security numbers, their income, maybe how much money they have in their 401k or their retirement or their bank accounts. And then you guys can actually educate from there, because it sounds like you do a little bit more than your average lenders, that you really take that next step, which is wonderful. And I love that about you guys. It sounds like you're going to do a fantastic job. But I just want everyone to know the difference between what you do, what other people do, and what they can do to have a successful relationship with you. That's why I was asking that question. What do you guys feel has attributed most to your success?
I think it's the 2 outsiders coming into an industry that we feel needs a little bit of shaking up. And that's why when we answer the last question, we may not be answering it the same way that everybody else does. And there's a reason for that, and we get it. And it's understandable, because it does help the borrower go through the process as well, and the agent and the lender. It helps everybody go across. But by coming in and shaking it up, this is not about a borrower. This is about a client and a person.
That's right.
right? So you make it personal as possible. You try to make it as efficient as possible. You put tools in place to help them with that information management,
Right.
make sure that it's secure, that it's efficient, make sure that our agent clients also have information that are copied on correspondences and constantly updated. So what makes us different is, 20 years of business and marketing and all these learnings that we have from our previous lives and applying it to an industry and approaching problems a different way.
No, it's wonderful. I mean, look, my whole attitude, the reason why I've been so successful in real estate is nobody's just a home buyer or a home seller. They're my clients. And it's all about building relationships. You can't do anything in life unless you build a relationship with that person. It's not going to be a successful one if you don't understand each other and what you want. Now we're filming this, guys, in beginning of February. So this is going to be airing in April. So it's April right now, okay, as far as anyone's concerned. But so if you're listening to this, these rates are not going to be accurate. But at this time in February, if there was an A plus, which is what, 750 FICO or more,
740.
740. What's an A paper rate for February? I know no one's going to hear it, but because when they hear it, it's going to be April. But what is it about?
Again, that's a loaded question too, because it depends on the client's individual situation. So we can take averages for a 30-year average at February. You're looking at 2.875.
Great. Yeah, on a conventional, 822
on a conventional 30-year loan.
California.
Now we've seen them. You can get down to a 15-year conventional if you use some industry jargon, buy down points, get them for 1.990.
Yeah.
You want to do jumbo for an investment property, you can get them for 2.75. But
you.
it all depends on all the things you brought up, your assets, your income, your ability to repay, all these different scenarios.
Excellent. Right. And that's just qualifying. I get it. So what's FUCD or FUCD? What is that? Talk to me.
FUCD is actually something that when we did proprietary research on the industry before we actually got in, what we found is a lot of consumers going through the process come away with fear, uncertainty, and doubt. We added the C, confused. And it's not a pleasant experience, unfortunately, for the majority of people. So, FUCD for us is the thing that we are trying to overcome in every single thing we do with every touch point with any of our clients, to make sure that the process is as pleasant as it should be.
So it's
especially when
it's fear, uncertainty,
confusion and doubt.
Great. I mean, I agree with all of that. And most people feel like that, especially first-time buyers, or maybe people that are coming from somewhere else. I mean, gosh, experienced people can feel that,
I promise you, in our research, the experienced people are feeling it. Maybe not as much, but I guarantee you they feel it, right? I mean, could I have gotten a better deal, right? Was that the right thing to do? It's always something that's going through your mind when you got a financial transaction of that size.
Yeah, no, I get it. And you guys sound like you really have great intentions and that you really want to help people. So this can go to one or both of you. Let's say you were Marty from Back to the Future and you had to come back and old Marty was coming back, right? To warn young Marty or to give maybe young Marty some advice. What would old Darren give to young Darren or Matt, either one? What advice could you come back from the future and give?
And what are we giving advice about, Brad? Because
tell me.
There's a lot of life here.
Right, but it could be, hey, spend your life doing more of this, or it could be, don't remember that you're going to meet this girl on September 1st. Don't go out with her because she'll ruin your life. Trust me. Whatever. Just it could be about real estate or not. It could be about life or not. What is it that you feel has made an impact on your life that maybe you would want to change, or maybe you would just wish you would have paid more attention to it and did a little bit more of? Is there anything?
I mean, I'll take a quick stab on in my case. I mean, honestly, had I had the knowledge I have today about finance and wealth management and leveraging real estate to help create wealth, I'd be in a whole different situation right now. I'm not saying that I'm in a bad spot, but I could make it in a heck of a lot better one.
I tried to tell you that a few years ago, buddy.
Oh, yeah, and you did, and we made some good decisions.
Remember, this was on, I sent this out about a week ago to all of my, if you guys follow me on All Things Real Estate, Instagram, Twitter, any of that, I put out quotes, and I put out a quote last week, and it said, don't wait to buy real estate. Buy real estate and wait. And that's just like what you guys are saying. What can change your life, right? So you were saying you wish you would have bought more. You wish you would have done more of that in your 20s, because you'd be sitting in a different position now, right, Darren?
Yeah, I mean, had I had the knowledge I have now, I'd be able to, not necessarily buying real estate, but knowing how this complex financial system works, investments and stock markets and saving money and compound interest, and how interest rates can work for you or against you depending on what side you're on. And to go to Matt's point, like, did I make the right decision? Getting rid of the FUCD helps make the right decision.
That's right. And I love the fact that you guys do that. And I'm just trying to think it. I know I said FUCD, and I'm trying to think what else it stands for if you use all those words, but maybe my listeners at home.
We'll let your listeners use their imagination.
Sound it out, guys.
You don't need too much of an imagination to figure it
out. So I got another question. Matt Lee and Darren Phillips from Arrive Home Lending. So if there's a listener who would like to maybe get a loan from you, B, call you and strategize their life, or C, maybe they'd like to come to work at Arrive Home Lending. Anything. What could they do? How do they get a hold of you guys? Talk to me.
You can visit us at arrivehomelending.com. But if you're listening to this podcast, hey, just call us directly, 323-418-2251. I'm sure you want to get down to it as well as we do too. So.
And what's your email?
Emails are matt.lee@gotoarrive.com and darren.phillis@gotoarrive.com.
Excellent. That's wonderful. And guys, remember, if you are listening to this on the podcast and not watching the YouTube, you can go to YouTube at ATRE Podcast and see these good-looking gentlemen that I'm staring at, and you can hear what they have to say and really see how animated they are. They've been nonstop animation. It's crazy. And if you are interested in being coached, go to my atrepodcast.com and sign up for one free complimentary coaching session. Many of my podcast listeners have become coaching clients, and I look forward to seeing you all soon. And remember, have an attitude of gratitude. Darren and Matt, you guys have been wonderful. I appreciate it. And I wish you both the best in life and in business.
Thank you, Brad. Same to you.
Thanks, Brad.
And that's our show for today. I hope you enjoyed it. You know, many of my podcast listeners have become my coaching clients. If you'd like to be a coaching client, go to my website at www.atrepodcast.com and sign up for your free 30-minute coaching evaluation at www.atrepodcast.com. And as my dad would always say, have an attitude of gratitude.